What's going on, guys? Reisshub back with another video, and in today's video I want to cover Salted Towers, the combination of Tilted Towers and Salty Springs. New POI on the map that everyone is loving so far. Whoa, what happened to my voice? I don't know. Let's get into the analysis. This spot is reasonably okay. There's 23 chests, which is nothing standout. It's nothing in comparison to Dirty Docks' 39 or Sweaty Sands, that has a ton of chests as well. However, it does stand out in floor spawns, as it has 94 floor spawns. Now, this again isn't the same as some of these other top contesting POIs, but it definitely has a lot more floor spawns than chests in comparison to other POIs on the map. In terms of materials, it's pretty good. Not too much wood around, however, you should be okay in the surrounding areas for this. However, there's a ton of brick. The majority of the buildings are made of brick, so if you're staying here to get Storm Surge or just farm a building, using brick here is going to do you really well. In terms of metal, there's buses, cars, and also an empty truck that you can harvest out too. So again, reasonably good metal. For a full trio, maybe not capped metal unless you're contested and you manage to pick up the eliminations from them and get the siphon on that for the materials. But still, really good mats overall. In terms of environmental heals, Salted has it very, very good. In the surrounding areas, there are actually 3 slurp trucks, 2 to the north and 1 to the southeast. Now, the southeast one is normally taken by the people who land on the 0 point spot, so you don't often get this slurp truck. However, the 2 to the top are nearly always taken just by the people who are in Salted, so if you end up landing to the north of this, you have a really, really high chance of getting full shield here. And we'll also come to some strategies for that later on too. There's also 2 slurp barrels to the east-hand side as well, so if you're on this east-hand side, that's an easy 20 shield or white HP. And it is also 4 noms boxes, again, near the gas station and a little bit to the south of that as well. So there is a possibility to get peppers from here to make your mid-game rotates easy, or more kind of refillable shields if you don't manage to get any of the slurp barrels or slurp trucks. So overall, the loot here is very, very good. In particular, these kind of slurp trucks and the slurp barrels and the noms boxes that are around. The chest amount, not amazing, 23 is still very good, and the floor spawns overall is very, very high, so overall very, very good loot, but that's not the main strength of this POI in my opinion. The main strength is its location and also the ability to rotate from here. So obviously it's center map, which means it has the shortest amount of time to rotate to the first zone, no matter where it is, so obviously a very, very good point. Kind of guys like Zayt and Saf always used to choose center map locations because these are the easiest to rotate for this exact reason, so potentially we could see these guys and Stretch as a trio landing here, maybe the preference for them. And if they have to go to any corner of the map, it's a reasonably easy rotate for them. If they have to go to any on the east side, they just need to jump into the sand and it'll be a quick rotate that takes them a huge amount of the distance across the map. And if they have to go up to the northwest, then they can just jump into the water that pushes down that way towards Coral and then go that way. Same thing towards the southwest as well. The water stream takes you down there, so being in the center map position, extremely beneficial for them. On top of that, they have really good Storm Surge routes from here because again, it's center map with a high point because they can get onto the top of Trump Tower, take shots on players rotating through there. If they have a zone where no one seems to be rotating through this way, they have relatively quick rotations to get them onto high points of the map. So very good Storm Surge from this area, and if it's contested, which I would guess it may be in these kind of more stacked tournaments in the FNCS to come, potentially we'll see easy Storm Surge from the fighters there, but if it's uncontested, again the rotates are easy and they should be set up in a really good position to get Storm Surge relatively easy. And we can't talk about rotations without talking about the 0 point stones that are spread all across the desert. If you guys don't know, if you double tap them once you've used them, you will do a short little lunge, you will still take full damage, and this lunge obviously you can keep doing. I think the stones last for around 30 seconds, so really good rotates, in particular to go across the sand area, because you can just keep picking them up until you get to the other side. So even if the digging underground continues to be disabled for a bit longer, this rotation ability is still there. Also, if you're doing an east rotate and you need to get some more shield, you can go into the hollow point and gain, I think now it's 47 shield. It was 50 previously, but it was just been nerfed to 48 shield to ensure that people couldn't just stay in a 10-tick zone and continually take healing from that over and over and over again. So I think it's 48 shield if you go into it. So if you need to rotate past here, and obviously it's a bit of a large build up, so hopefully if there's already some builds and other people have gone up there already, you can gain more shield from this rotate. Okay, so let's look at how to actually fight here in the early game and give yourself the best advantage. Now, right now, there's still a ton of players dropping here because it's tilted. Well, it's not really, it's salted, but let's be real, we're going to keep calling it tilted. And there's just a beloved place, center map, that this is the W key spot now. It's not that comparable to Stark Industries because in Stark it was absolutely insane how many players are dropping there at that point. And it's not quite as 50-50 because you're not landing on those 100% guaranteed chests. So there's no 100% guaranteed chest spawns within the tilted drop. So instead what players are doing is mainly landing on roofs and higher points on these buildings and trying to grab floor spawns and chests from these positions, work their way down the buildings. Now my strategy and what I would actually recommend if you want to stay alive the most is actually to try and ensure that you get a drop that gets you onto the ground floor or first floor levels. So here's some of the houses that you don't want to land at. Now you can see there's multiple, and the reason for this is because they have the lowest amount of chest spawns being only 1, and also at the same time they only have a few floor spawns, so you want to try and avoid landing here as much as possible. So that's both the houses to the west and then also Noms to the northeast and the gas station. These only have 1 chest, they're completely not worth landing at all. You can pretty much land at any of the other buildings here, and it depends whichever way you have a good drop for and what you want to land on, but for some of these buildings, I'm going to show you exactly where I'd want you to land. So if you go to the red brick house to the complete north, the best spot to land here is on the ground floor at the back door, because when you open this up, there's 2 floor spawns in that room exactly right there. So I guarantee almost that you're going to get something. The run through that I landed there, I got a fishing rod out of that, so not too happy about it. But there's also 2 chests in this building and a ton of other floor loot, so a great building to land at. And then you can rotate around the west side and pick up the kind of houses with the single chests from here, or go to another house which was uncontested as well, pick up a bit more loot. Now the place with the most chests in the closest area is obviously the clock tower. However, this is almost always contested, and if you want to land here in 50-50, go for it. But you can land in the window and crouch in and get a chest before someone hits through the roof. Most of the players are still landing on the roof at this point. Just remember, you can go through the windows and get those chests first, so that's a way to do it here. If you're going to land in Trump Tower, the main building here, I would recommend, again, still going to low level because there's still chests in this area. You can break the floors to get the chest from above, or just simply go through this wall to grab the chest if it's here. Again, try and find a couple floor spawns to land on instead, because floor spawns are much more guaranteed of just a tactical shotgun mainly, and that's so important in this drop. Now my favorite building to land at is the one to the very south. And if you notice, you come through this door where I've landed here, and there's a chest directly above you. You can break through the floor and grab this loot here. Then you can continue on into the toilet on that same floor that you're on and grab a second chest. There's also 3 floor spawns on this floor as well, so really good loot straight off. If you're just going to do a tiny looting path, this is it. There's also another chest 2 floors up as well, so 3 chests in this building in total, and this is by far the building that the least amount of players land at, so this is a way to get the most amount of loot before you fight. I know a lot of top level pros will just be landing here and landing on any gun, 50-50ing and going for it. That's fine, but I'm just assuming you guys are not top pros because, let's be real, that's the case. But you want to go to tilted towers and pick up a bunch of eliminations. This is the way to do it the safest. Another option, if you are completely scuffed, remember I talked about those slurp trucks? You can, if you've only got a little bit of loot, no heals, you can just rotate out. Just rotate out, go get a slurp truck. A lot of times there's good loot around these areas as well. Then you can pick up the heals from that, pick up the bit of loot and rotate back in and get eliminations. There's no point in trying to fight someone if you've got 50 to 75 HP because the majority of the times this place is so contested in like solos that you might as well just rotate out because you're not going to be able to find any more chests. If you are looking for more loot, the chests that are normally left over are the ones I just mentioned in that south house. Firstly, these ones are normally there because people don't go into this house as often. There's also a ton of floor spawns in there too. And then another chest in Trump Tower is often left when you go through this brick wall, so you can actually do a looting path and get all 4 of these chests in one. So if you're low on materials, you're low on ammo, you're low on heals, you're low on weapons, this is the best opportunity for you to get more loot. Hope you guys enjoyed the video and learned a lot. I've been Reisshub. Peace.